So, guitar weights. This is something people context about every day.
That is true.
It's the most common question. How much does that guitar weigh?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Wait,
it does, because that's
the
what
Yeah.
No, but we're of course, we're very forthcoming. We'll weigh every guitar, like, if it's not on the website already, let everybody know. It's just funny. It's and then cool. This kind of came. We've been talking about this for years.
Yes.
And like we don't really know when and where the fascination with weight started. But it did. I don't know where it happened. It was kind of like when culture sort of changed, like in the middle 2000s, and everyone started getting super sensitive all of a sudden. But then we don't know if weight, where that came from. I'm not correlating. I just remember when that happened.
I just think, I think I'm going to blame the 70s guitars because they're all so friggin' heavy. 70s guitars weigh a ton. And I wonder if people at some point were like, oh, yeah, no. Because for a while I felt like I heard heavier Les Pauls had more tone. I remember being like a young guitar player.
Was that a sales pitch?
I don't know. Maybe it's people justifying their really heavy 70s guitars. but I don't know. And then I started hearing the opposite. Oh, well, no, lighter is more resonant, which that's the way I tend to lean. Like
yeah, and there's certain. Let me back up further. First, thanks for joining us. Click like, subscribe,
hit the old bell.
Let's just keep going. We're rocking. We're in a good mind frame here. How much do your guitars weigh?
I do not know.
How much does your Telecaster weigh?
I don't know.
How much does your 335 weigh?
I don't know.
What kind of guitar player are you if you don't know your exact weight of your guitar? No, and then that's what I asked Sean the other day too, and he's like, "I've never weighed my guitars." I'm like, "I've never weighed my guitars either." I'm like, are we bad?
And we easily could, easier
we have
than most
scale
people, because we have it like literally we could just hang them. But I've
never had the thought to be like, I'm curious how much this weighs.
That's never been a defining factor in me buying a guitar or not. Ever.
Okay, so that's a good point right there. So why not?
Well, because when I pick it up, I either like the way it feels or I don't, and I either like the way it sounds or I don't. And so, like, if I had a guitar that I thought was just amazing feeling and sounding, and it was crazy heavy. I mean, even when I was playing live, I do know I had friends who were like, "Oh, I just couldn't wear that all night," but I just never.
Well, I hear that a lot with Les Paul. Like people that play Fenders, they'll be like, "Oh, I couldn't see holding the Les Paul all night." Yeah, because they're heavy.
But I mean, I have done
but they're
doubles.
Cool.
I've done 2 4-hour gigs in a row with probably an 8-pound heavy Les
But you
Paul.
were in a wheelchair then.
Well, that's true.
In a Segway, like on a wheelchair and a Segway.
Crazy Segway accident. Put me in a wheelchair. That's what it's trying to say.
People are like, what happened? That's not true. I'm sorry.
None of these things are true.
I just wanted to have a little fun there. No, it's.
But yeah, maybe at the end of the night. But not any guitar you wear for 4 hours or 8 hours. At the end of the night, you're like, oh god.
Well, just because it's an awkward feeling. And like, and this is not disparaging. A gentleman asked us the other day, like it was just a reverb question. It's a normal question. We get it again every day. It's like, how much does the guitar weigh? We're like, it's 7.6 pounds. Like, I really need something that's 7.5 or below. Thank you. Like, and I said,
that's so close.
Sean and I giggled because it's like if you factor in the weight of like the hook on the scale. I mean, whatever. But
that is factored in. But yes.
I like to pretend like it's not in my mind. I do that sometimes. Like when you
set to 0.
When you get on the scale yourself, it's like, well, if I didn't have 10 pounds of clothes on, I'd be this weight. It's not 10 pounds of clothes, darn it. I don't know. Sometimes it's a lot.
Sometimes you have to do the thing where you like pull all your jeans out of your suitcase at the airport to like be.
I have so like my clothes are heavy. When I have like the stuff in my pockets are absurd,
and you're like, dang it.
Absurd. No, it's but I started laughing about that one comment. Just not in a ha ha ha. You was just like that is funny because it's so close. It's the same weight pretty much, but it's.
But I feel like sometimes we will fall into the trap of it because when we see it's different to see the number on paper, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, oh my god, this guitar is you're right, or it's a Tele that's like under 7 pounds. You're like, wow, it's so, but it. And every now and again, we'll be shocked by when we pick one up or it's so light.
I played, it was both an Echo Park and a John Cruz that were both on the heavier side of things, and they were both spectacular. Yeah. And then the weight just went out my window.
One, I hate to be unidealistic. It doesn't matter for most people because most people are playing sitting in their living room. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm sitting usually when I play.
If you're... Maybe if you have some back stuff or shoulder stuff and you're going out and you're gigging for hours and hours and hours.
Well, let me back that up a little bit too, because we have done a sort of poll here with some rock stars. The answer is pretty much we don't care.
Well, yeah.
And then this sort of shocked me. prefer heavier guitars.
I've heard this. Yes.
So this has been Derek's fantasy since day one of YouTube. He's wanting us to prove that heavier guitars are better than lighter guitars.
Let's make it a thing. Let's make it a thing.
And it might be a thing. That's the scary thing. With some guys, it's like, well, I know from talking to the head of the custom shop back in the day that when he sat down with, like, he said, I asked him, I was like, do the rock stars care about weight? He's like, Eric Clapton is probably one of the biggest rock stars, like, in the history of guitar. He's never asked the weight of a guitar. None of our artists have ever asked for a particular weight. Ever.
I just imagine the Batman scene. I'll never ask, and I'll never will. He's like, he's like, I've never said thank you. And he's like, you'll never have to. I just imagine Eric Clapton being like, I'll never ask. I'll never have to. Or something. I
wish he was like that.
It would be great if
not there you want him. Here you need.
Yeah.
I like that my 6-year-old is obsessed with Batman. He hasn't seen any Batman movies yet because I feel like it's a little bit intense for him.
But he just loves Batman.
Well, more intense for my 9.5-year-old. More, he would like lose his mind, like be terrified. He just likes to be on because I'm Batman. He's walking around saying that, which I think is adorable. Because I'm Batman, and he's this cute little thing with curly hair. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. He'll watch this video 10 years from now, like, Dad, I hate you. Yeah. Damn you, Father. No, it's
No one will watch these videos 10 years from now. Don't you worry.
That would be weird. It's like, God, people used to play guitar 10 years ago.
Strange.
Weird.
The AI just does it now. We just think it, and the AI does it.
You don't have to. The Matrix has taken over entirely.
AI overlords.
No, but I mean, I think I probably do prefer a lighter guitar myself. You know, I found that, like, in the thing, I've never made that be the determining factor of a yes or no to a guitar.
Right.
But I guess when you're buying, maybe this is it. You're buying a guitar sight unseen, or not. You can't play it.
That's probably the rise of part of the infatuation with this.
Well, because it's the internet, online sales. That's what we all do, and you got to have some algorithm on where you can be like, well, I base my like on this or not. But I don't know, man. Some of the heaviest guitars we've had through the shop have been the best. Yeah,
it's just weird to have a hard cutoff, right? Like it's hard to say that because maybe you miss out on a crazy
12.5 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't want that. And I mean, I guess maybe some of the guitars that I've loved, I'm sure that plays in. I've just never consciously thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, we have a whole video on it, sort of, in the cooker there. But you guys do need to watch The Last of Us as well. That's all I'm gonna say. Episode 1's been out. It just came out. It's awesome. We all
held hands and watched it together.
We did. We had a casino guitars party and we're holding each other in a warm embrace. It was awesome. It was super cool. But we'll get more into that later. I just wanted to mention it again because I'm excited. And don't forget, we're having the Wonderwall-a-thon coming up.
It's coming up this week. It's Sunday.
It's this Sunday. If you do want to drive in Sunday at 12 o'clock, that's when it happens. But just stay tuned to the YouTube channel. You're going to see the shenanigans unfold the week following. It'll be bad.
Today's going to be the day.
For hours.
Practicing. I'm getting ready.
Getting warmed up. So if the rock stars don't care,
no.
The idiots, you and I, don't really care. Should you care?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I guess so, probably. I mean, if that's your thing, yeah. I mean, but maybe I do care. Because I think I've been sort of infected by this whole thing as well in a weird way. I do when I see like, oh, that guitar's really light, I get kind of excited. Does that make sense?
Now that it's different now, right? Because you go on Sweetwater and they tell you the weight of like, oh, we have 4 of these and here's the weight. Yeah, I would pick the lightest almost every time. The maybe one exception would be if one was really close and it had a way cooler top or something.
The thing that I learned from Steve or Wildwood too, which was really cool, was back in the day before everything was online sales. But you'd call him and like his team would go through and like if there's like multiples, they would play it, and we do that too, which is fun. Gives us an excuse to play guitars at work. But they'll pick the best one. It's not always the lightest. And often what's happened with us too, when we're actually asked to do that, I'll still remember that one acoustic that you and I did together. The cheaper acoustic was better.
We both said that independently.
I think that guy still ended up returning it though.
He did.
Okay, I thought I was right on that one. But it was.
But hey,
I just didn't
can't win them all.
Yeah, Johnny and I both spent an hour tell you, well, I think this one's definitely better. This one's
the
better.
phone's laying there. We'd play it.
Yeah,
this one's better. It is.
This is the winner. We like this.
Something about it.
It's got much better than the one that's $400 more. We saving you $400.
It might have been more than that.
Maybe it was $800.
I think it was quite a
I can't remember.
Quite a gap.
I just remember it was like we liked it better.
Those guitars, we did.
It was a Taylor. I just don't remember what. It was mahogany, I believe, too.
I thought it was one of the American Dreams that we actually liked better, but I don't remember exactly.
That's confusing. There's too many guitars, Taylor. Stop making so many SKUs. It just confuses us every day. I go to bed sleeping and thinking about Taylor and Fender SKUs.
That's true.
It's upsetting. I think that's it. I think we've reached a conclusion.
I think so.
So I don't know if we came to any point. Maybe it just doesn't it doesn't matter to us as much as I thought it did. You know?
Like, I don't know. I almost feel like at the end it mattered to you more.
Maybe through. I don't know. It's like, but it's tricky. No, it does. Like when I see it on paper, but when I get them in my hands, it really doesn't.
I think that's the point.
It
right?
doesn't.
Is it nothing like? It could all go by the way. We've talked about this before. Like I own custom shops that would not be my first pick of things on paper
On the internet, right?
but it was playing them. It was picking them up and be like, oh wow, I really.
Because your custom shop Strat is spectacular.
It's fantastic.
And like that's one that you probably wouldn't have picked out like if you were specking one out.
No, and it literally took, months of it hanging there and me being like, look, that guitar's awesome. Why has no one bought it? Oh, wait, maybe I should play it. Oh, wow. Maybe I should
have that be my
own this.
guitar. And that's how it happens.
So,
And if you're like sitting there online and like you are having those issues, that's the fun part of like your trusted guitar shops out there. Not saying us. I would love it if you wanted to use us. Sure. But if you are near Wildwood or you're near like, the Music Zoo or you're near like Sims or you're near like Chuck Levins and you wanted to get some, salsa dancing as well with Carlos and family. It's this little dance troupe he does. He does birthday parties. But any of that, like call these guys. Like they will tell you, like we sell a lot of guitars. All these shops sell a lot of guitars. They don't have to sell you another guitar. They want to help you find the right guitar.
And people call sometimes and ask, hey, I want this. What about this guitar? And no. I told someone the other day, I was like, yeah, you don't want that guitar.
I was working with a gentleman yesterday. No, it was just yesterday. In store, he's an awesome dude. I had a great time with him. He was wanting to look at some custom shops. We played for about 15 minutes with some custom shops. He's wanting a Magnetone too or something. He wanted like a cool amp. He's looking at these other ones, these PRS amps. Like, I think the Magnetone's going to fit you better. So we're on a Magnetone. And then so he loves that. But the custom shops just weren't. I was watching him play, and he plays like a hammer. And I was like, man, play this American Vintage. He's playing. I'm like, dude, I think that guitar sounds better for what you do, and it's about $2,500 cheaper.
So he probably ended up with an amp and a guitar for what he would have paid for.
Yes, for the one guitar.
Yeah,
and the guitar would have been more, I think, alone. And then he would have had to maybe skimp on the amp. And I was like, man, I'm always like,
and don't do that.
I'm always like, amp. If you're in the question, and that guitar he got was bad to the bone, and it fit his playing style, and that's what we can help with over the phone, on the internet, sometime as well.
I think that might be one of the most fun sort of experience / revelation to have with customers where they realize that an amazing amp is sort of the jam. And then they take, that's a pretty fun experience.
It's like having like an easy wife. It's like the,
what?
Isn't it? It's like once you realize that, it's, I don't have that, unfortunately. So that's why I'm sort of pent up and angry most of the time.
So angry.
I'm so angry.
We do a lot of count to 10 backwards.
We literally work together every day. Then we get together and eat steak and watch TV shows at nighttime. It's absurd. It's
kind of horrible.
We need therapy and help, and we appreciate you joining us. And when you come in, if you're here one night and we're like watching Last of Us, you're coming over having some steak with us. You might see Derek in sweatpants, but that's okay. It's not that traumatizing.
No, it's fine. You get used to it. It's shocking at first.
He came to the shop the other day to check out my homeless attire. I was like,
you didn't look like he was.
What's the best thing when I see you in your shorts and your flip flops, dude? It just makes me happy. And like, my day off.
That's right.
Rock and roll. It makes me smile. You got your hair pulled back like Tedeschi trucks.
That's right.
When you do that little thing, like there's parts in the middle, it goes back.
Derek.
Love when you do that. Thanks for joining us. We're out of here. Bless you all. Bam.